All right, let me show you how to get started with Matter Wrap. Matter Wrap is a plugin for matter.js that allows us to have bodies wrap around the screen and make fun little scenes just like this.
Hey there, WebBay.
I'm going to be using my matter.js better boilerplate for this build today. I'll leave a link to this in the description below. So let's go ahead and clone this. All right, now once you got this opened up in Webflow, I'm just going to go ahead and apply a black background to this just because I like the look of that. And we're going to extract the code to Code Sandbox. So let's go into the page settings here. And I'm going to take everything within this second script tag all the way down to here and cut that out. And then we'll come to Code Sandbox. We'll create a new sandbox. We'll make it static. We will add a file, call it index.js, and we'll just paste all that in here. And now I'm going to go ahead and save that, scroll to the top, and we'll grab the link over here, shut that box down, and back in Webflow now, we can add our source attribute equal to the link, and the file is index.js. Now, if I save and publish this, we should see everything working. Okay, so here is our better boilerplate. We can see everything working just as it does in the clonable. Now, before we get started, I want this all to wrap, right? So we have a ground body, we have a left wall and a right wall. We don't need the walls because we want to actually wrap here. So I'm going to comment those out, and then I will remove them from this call to composite.add. So we're just adding a ground to this scene. And then down here in our resize function, we can also comment out the code to set the position on the right wall. So now if we refresh our page, we should see that we have no walls, but our balls are just falling off the scene. So we could, clear this all out. And now we want to implement matter wrap to make these wrap from one side to the other. So to get started with matter wrap, we'll just scroll down in the documentation here, and I'm going to grab this statement and we'll add it at the top of our code. So right up here, and let's see what else they want us to do. So now we add this plugin property to our body. So I'm just going to copy and paste this, come back to the code, and we're rendering a bunch of circles here. So where are those being rendered? This is the ground, and this for loop is what's creating all of the circles. So I'm going to add a comma after restitution and paste that plugin code. Now this is a absolute value for X and Y, but we want to use the width and height of our container. So let's go ahead and drop those in there. We're just copy pasting from above when we create the scene. And the next thing I want to do is actually grab the script from the CDN. So if you just Google for CDN matter wrap, you'll see it here. I think the latest version is 0.2.0. We can confirm that on the documentation. We see the release is 0.2.0. So we're getting the latest version here. Now back in Webflow, let's go back into our code settings, and we'll just drop matter wrap after this script tag, which is the one that's importing matter.js. So we've got 3 script tags going on here. I'm going to save and publish. And now when we open that up, we can see that we're getting our little balls here to wrap around the scene, and that's a lot of fun. And we got rid of the left and right walls, but it looks like it's not wrapping above and below because we have a ground here. So if I throw it straight up, it's actually hitting the ground from the bottom. Oops, I can't throw this thing. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove the ground and see what happens when we do that. So we'll just comment out the ground here, and we'll remove that from our composite.add and save. And if we come back and refresh, we can see everything is falling and it's getting really trippy and crazy. And I can kind of grab stuff, but this is awful. So let's go ahead and change some of the friction going on here. We can create way more air friction by just deleting those zeros. And if I save, let's see what we get now. Refresh. And now we can see our balls fall a lot slower, but that's kind of fun. You can just kind of play around with this to get the different effects that you want. I kind of like having the ground on there. So now we've got a lot more air friction and our balls are hitting terminal velocity. We can bang and bump things around. And if you like all this coding and Webflow stuff, you should definitely check out my Patreon. I have a lot of other tutorials on how to do things just like this. And these videos are all made possible by my Patreon members. So thank you very much to them. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next video, which I'm going to display right here. All right, check you later.